Okay, I'm going to try to get through this entire video without crying like a little baby. And I'm not exactly sure, but I don't think that I've ever mentioned my brother in any of my videos on my channel up until this point. Because honestly, it's not really that relevant to most of what I talk about on this channel, with the exception of today. Now, this is a picture of myself and my older brother. I guess I'm about 14 or 15, and he's probably about 16 or 17. And it must have been right around this time, because in 1984, when I was 15, my brother committed suicide. Now, a lot of time has passed. Shit. And I'm not here looking for sympathy strokes, but I can tell you, it sucks having a story that nobody else wants, but that a lot of people unfortunately have. So, if you don't mind hanging out with me for the next couple of minutes, I want to share a little bit about my brother's story and what I'm planning on doing to help honor his name going forward. Okay, yeah, this might be a little rough. So listen, when I was 15 years old, I had spent the night at a buddy's house and came home early the next morning. When I walked in the house, I heard a commotion. The phone hit the floor and my mother's bedroom door slammed shut. Now, she's there with her boyfriend, and I figured maybe I caught them in sexy time. So right when I walked in, a few seconds later, the phone rang. So I picked up the phone, and it's my dad. And he's like, "Can I talk to your mom again?" It's like, "Okay, Mom, Dad's on the phone." So she comes out of the bedroom, her and her boyfriend, both in tears. She picked up the phone, said something to my dad, and hung up, and proceeded to tell me that my brother had passed away. He had taken a water ski rope out of my dad's boat and went out to a undeveloped portion of the island that they lived on in Washington State and hung himself from a big tree, and my father had to find him. So after he died, I started down a road that really wasn't leading me anywhere, right? I didn't want to talk about it, and all I wanted to do was self-medicate to avoid feeling sad. Now, I was already smoking a little pot, but afterwards, cocaine and alcohol were the drugs of choice for me for several years, and blackouts were pretty common. So let me just back up for a second, because as kids, my brother and I had a great childhood, despite the fact that we didn't have much money whatsoever. My mom and dad divorced when I was like a toddler, and my mom had custody of both me and my brother. And I didn't know it at the time, but we lived in a very poor housing development. All of the houses were these really old, decrepit, rundown, mobile home duplexes. But the upside is that it was within walking distance to the University of Washington campus. Okay, so let's hear it for all the single moms and dads out there like mine who put herself through college and earned a master's degree while raising two small kids. I don't know how she did it, but I do have these memories of creative dinners with pancake mix because she was going to school and we just didn't have any money. But as we got older, my brother and my mom started to sort of clash with each other, and so when I was maybe 12 or 13, he went to go live with my dad. Now, my dad had gotten remarried at this point, and his wife had 4 daughters of her own, so when my brother went to go live with them, it was a pretty full house. He also started going to a new high school, and I think that's when things started to deteriorate for him. Now, he was into weightlifting and water skiing, and despite being tall and fairly muscular, he just wasn't that much of an athlete, and I think he started getting bullied pretty bad. I need a few minutes in between takes here. So I would go visit my brother and my dad on the weekends, and him and I would go hide out at the lake and smoke a bunch of weed together. But towards the end, and I didn't realize this as a sign back then, but he started giving me a bunch of his stuff little by little. Every weekend when I'd go visit, he would just give me more of his things, and I've come to learn through seeing a counselor that it's a sign when people think they don't have anything to live for. They no longer need their stuff because they're planning their exit. So they start giving their things away. Now, this was a big red flag, but I had no idea. So listen, I'm going to talk for just a minute about counseling and therapy and the service BetterHelp.com, who agreed to sponsor this video about my brother. Now, my brother, he didn't think he had anyone to talk to, even though he was surrounded by family. And the two of us grew apart a little bit because he had moved away, but there also wasn't as much available information and education back in the early 80s about bullying and suicide like there is today. Sometimes all we need is to talk to someone who's a good listener because, Lord knows, talking to a family member or a friend can get a little complicated because they're just too close to the emotions. So let me explain. BetterHelp is not a crisis line, and it's not a self-help line. It's a professional counseling service that's done securely online. BetterHelp assesses your needs and then matches you with your own licensed professional therapist. And once you sign up, you can start communicating in under 48 hours. You can log in anytime and send a message to your counselor. You can also schedule weekly phone or video sessions so you won't have to sit in those awkward waiting rooms anymore. BetterHelp is also committed to quality therapeutic matches, so they make it very easy and free to change counselors if that's what you need to do. Now, BetterHelp is also more affordable than traditional counseling, and financial aid is available. Listen, man, talking with a professional is a great way to start feeling better about yourself. So if you're ready, click the first link down in the description to betterhelp.com/fashion and join the over 1 million people that are already taking charge of their mental health. And as a bonus, they're offering a special just for watching this video. So please, go click that link that I'll leave down below in the description to betterhelp.com/fashion. Boy, the waterworks are on today. So let me shift gears for a little bit and talk about what I'm planning on doing to honor my brother's name going forward. I've got several different ideas for affordable products that are not being marketed to men in our age group. So the first step I took to get the ball rolling is to buy my brother's name as a .com, deanmichael.com. Now, this will be one of the brands that I'm developing, and a portion of all proceeds will go towards suicide prevention programs. And it's crazy because it actually took a few weeks to finally get the domain because somebody else owned it, and I had to hire a broker to help me facilitate that sale. Now, I'm still a little ways out on this, but at least I finally have the domain that I need. And once I finally had it, I called my mom to let her know what I was doing, and that was very cool. My barber, Michael, said something the other day, and it's that most people need 3 things in their life. One is to have something to look forward to so that you can actually wake up and get out of bed every single day. The next one is someone to love. And the third thing is needing something that keeps you growing and learning. And this is all the shit that we don't like to talk about as men, but somebody needs to talk about it. So listen, if you're a happy, well-adjusted dude, man, that is awesome. And I hope you take a step back and fully appreciate everything that your life has going for it and be proud. And I think that as we get older, we start to reflect more on our lives and think about past moments and past relationships and friends that have come and gone and family members and the accomplishments that we've made along the way. And I think that's why I finally decided to open up and talk to you about my brother and just let you guys in a little bit, because I wonder, man, like what kind of man he'd be today, how many kids he might have, and what his dreams would be. So listen, if there's something off with your life, take a minute and think, what is interfering with your happiness? And I know a lot of you know exactly what that is, but maybe you're too paralyzed to do anything about it. Listen, my friend, it's no big deal to talk to someone. I don't care who it is, especially if you're having dark feelings. It's too late for my brother, but it's not too late for you, I promise. And like I said before, I'm not looking for any sympathy, and I'm not making this video for dramatic effect. My life has been impacted by my brother's suicide, and everything I do here on this channel is in an effort to help those guys that want the help. And if you feel like you're a better dude today than you were before you started trying some of the stuff that I talk about in all of these videos, then mission accomplished. Now, I do apologize if this one was a little dark, but if you think more people should see this video, please click the thumbs up button because it will make a difference. Thanks again for watching. Live well, my friends, and I'll see you in the next one.